Okay, it started. So, hi, we are group two, and I'm Hannah Kim.
I'm Genesis.
I'm Kristen.
Okay, today we're going to talk about our Horizon reports and what we read over throughout the week. My Horizon report that I read on was the 2023 Horizon Action Plan on
Why
AI.
is that two
Essentially,
one?
it talked about what can schools and even teachers and students do to implement AI into the teaching programs. It recommended action plans from what teachers can do as individuals, but what can like departments do together, and even like universities or school as a whole. It did talk about how it may take a while, up to 10 years, to even get the ball rolling on this, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I do
That
definitely
feels like a
agree with.
long time.
Yeah, it feels like a long time, but I also AI has been around for a while. It just recently got popular. So I think t 10 years, I think it's a good timeline. I think they talked about that. And one interesting point that they mentioned was that there's no consensus on how or like how AI what role AI should play in education. Like
Mhm.
teachers can't agree on one thing, and I definitely see that because AI can be very helpful, but it can also be used in unethical ways. So I
Yeah,
thought that was a good point.
yeah, that's actually something that we talked about as well.
Yeah.
Just using it there's like I feel like it's a two-edged sword. Like there are really good things about it, and then also like you can use it for that's yeah, unethically.
Unethically. But they did touch the point that students are probably going to use it anyway. So I think it's important to implement an ethical training that students can go through. Since they're
Mhm.
using it, you might as well get ahead of the program and, teach them how they can use it as a tool instead of a weapon, or like to to cheat or do anything unethical that they're not supposed to be doing.
Right.
Which I definitely agree with. I feel like training or ethical guidelines that they could follow that tells them what to do, what they can do with it, can be helpful, especially for students in high school and middle school, just so they have something to follow.
Yeah. Just to touch on your point is my article was about AI policies and guidelines. And the one thing that was mentioned in the article was that only 23% of you, okay, so this article was written in May of last year,
Mhm.
but only 23% of universities had any kind of AI policies in place. And so I kind of thought it was interesting that you said 10 years you thought was a good timeline because for me, I'm like, I feel like you need to have something in place now because people are, like you said, people are
Yeah.
using it in ways that are not ethical, and they're going to kind of just take their own lead however they're going to. And if they don't have to follow any kind of policies, then you might as well, right? I mean, I'm not saying that that's something you should do, but I feel like that's something that people will do.
Yeah, definitely. People need guidelines to follow to tell
Yeah.
them what to do sometimes. So I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of just training teachers and educators how to use it themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's a big, I mean, if they don't know how to use it, how are we gonna figure it out with students and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what mine was about was, it was it was panelists talking about it and how that like that may be the biggest challenge because teachers have to learn it as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of times I feel like students know more than teachers, because they're just more tech savvy or, whatever it may be, and they can, yeah, kind of like pull the fleece over their teacher's eyes if the teacher is not aware of what's even really going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
My report touched on that point as well. And a suggestion that they gave was maybe develop a curriculum for teachers to take over it about
Hmm.
AI, or like provide IT support specifically for AI only, so they have a place to go and ask questions and have a resource that's there for them.
Right, right.
Yep.
Kristen actually talked about that too, about like having sorry,
IT.
professional development
Mhm.
for AI usage in the classroom and teaching teachers how to use it properly.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I talked about my articles. Kristen, is there anything else you wanted to mention about yours?
Um, this the hybrid model.
Oh, yeah.
Talked about the hybrid model and how it's expensive to start because you have to have two-way cameras. You have to make sure that the kids out at home can hear you and whatever students may be in the classroom. It's really expensive to start up, which most schools can't even afford. That's the biggest downfall for something like that. It's great, it's a great option, but it's
Yeah, it might not be doable for
no,
a lot of schools or a lot of communities.
no.
Um, Genesis, did you find anything on yours did you tie yours to a standard at all?
I think most of the standards were about educating and having like some sort of I can't remember the principle specifically, but it was one about having um, guidelines in the classroom to teach. I think it was an educator one, and I think My Horizon report touched base on that. It was related to AI. Obviously, it
Right.
talked about providing a specific curriculum. If you're going to use AI as a tool, might as well develop some type of curriculum or lesson around it, and incorporate that into a classroom.
Okay.
So students have a chance to use it in class as well if they're gonna use it at home. Kind of teach them how to use them in class too.
Hmm.
So we can see like ethical and good ways to see that. So I think that was a good. I made that connection with the standard.
Okay. Yeah. The standard that Kristen and I had previously spoken about was empowered learners.
Yeah.
So, advocating students being able to advocate for what they're learning within AI and also just empowering them to
Yeah.
learn new technologies and new things to implement. So, yeah. I don't have anything else to add. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
No, I cover my points. Thank you.
No? Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.